Well, hello there. Black Tiger. Feeling a bit more orange today.
Tend to do.
No. You gotta. I think it's.
All right, go ahead. Dip
I think it's a.
Oh, wait, what flavor do you have?
I have regular.
You have regular, the puffs or the cart?
What?
You have the puffs or do you have the?
No, these are
crunchy,
these
original flavor.
Yeah, this is original flavor, and they've been crushed.
Oh.
You're not going to get very good coverage that way.
Well, I think you are.
I don't.
Now,
Pretty good.
do I look like Donald Trump?
You need more forehead though. That's it. Can you get a little?
You need more.
Yar.
I don't.
Now. Do I look like Donald Trump? You need more forehead, though. Can you get a little more?
Oh, jeez. Attacking my lights, too. So, I'm here today to present to you some brand new content. But, I mean, it's not exactly brand new. Whatever. It's new for this format, so here we go. I'm going to inform you today about something that I call establishment terms. Now, what is an establishment term? An establishment term is a word or a phrase that has been coined so that it can be used against people, something that has been weaponized, language that is weaponized. Excuse me, I'm trying to speak softly here. So, an example of a currently in use establishment term, the subject of today's establishment term video is fake news. Fake news. This is something that is being pushed by the mainstream, as they are called, media, the MS media, MSM, yeah, right, the MS media, or as people like to call it, the lamestream media. Jeez. So, what they're doing is they're putting up a whole bunch of stories in articles saying that you shouldn't trust certain websites because all they do is present fake news. But here's the thing. Not true. The MSM sources, the legacy media, their dying legacy, CNN and all these other horrible people, they're the ones that have been putting out fraudulent news, false news, outright lies for a very long time now. So what they're trying to do is flip the script and make it so that regular people aren't trusting of citizen journalists and are only trusting of the established authority of CNN and MSNBC and ABC and Fox and whatever else they say that, you know, is A-OK approved according to them, but it's bogus. Now, here is a theory for you, a conspiracy theory, if you will. There was a person who entered the Comet Pizza restaurant, allegedly with a gun, didn't shoot anybody, and was taken into custody. It's very clean. And they're using this now in the media to say that people are on the internet and they're internet bullies, and they're bullying this pizza shop, and now a person's gone in with a gun, and this whole Pizzagate thing, it's made up, and this is the result of it, we gotta shut it down. And they're already trying to push legislation through, which I think went through in the House. I need to look up I'll try to link what House resolution it is in the description of this video here. But I believe that this event, this person going into this building with a firearm and not shooting anybody and being taken into custody, and the person was also listed on IMDb before the incident occurred as an actor. That's all very suspect to me, and I think that it's very likely that the event was a staged event by the CIA, what they call a psychological operation meant to socially influence everybody into a certain way of thinking. And that's the reason why I feel confident in that theory is because of their use of this establishment term, fake news. All of this is just so well crafted together that it seems very scripted, it's very unnatural. To set this up a little bit, to explain something more in depth here, Pizzagate, that sounded kind of funny. Pizzagate is not the first time that we have tried investigating child sex trafficking and pedophilia rings within the ranks of the government. It happened in the 90s. And if you go on Wikipedia, you can see a terrible, wrong, incorrect article labeled 90s Satanic Panic, wherein the wiki page alleges that Christians were just freaking out in the 90s about everything is satanic. Oh, Harry Potter is satanic. All this stuff is satanic. And there was just Christians freaking out. Yeah, well, guess what? J.K. Rowling practices Wicca. She's an actual witch. And Harry Potter uses magic to summon, creatures. And there are demonic creatures in that. So, it is more or less satanic. If you think of it in the context that it doesn't endorse God, and it only endorses people using magic to overcome things themselves, and only apparently dark forces exist. They never mention God at all. It's very, so that's why it's satanic there. And Satanism is very real, obviously. And what people get hair-and-glued on is the fact that there are multiple forms. There's Satanism, there's Luciferianism. There is a few. There are a few different ways of practicing Satanism, and certain Satanists, the ones that say that everyone else is doing it wrong. There's always there are always sects like that. Just look at Mormons and Catholics and other people who don't just follow the words of Jesus and believe in God, and generally follow the Bible. So yeah, and there's a lot of people out there always in opposition. But either way, the Satanism is very real, and there was an event that occurred in the 90s, and there's a book about it called The Franklin Case Cover-Up. It's about Satanism in the military. There was an officer, Michael Aquino, who was in the military intelligence, and he was a member of the Church of Set, I believe, the Temple of Set, which is Satanist. One of his idols was Aleister Crowley. If you're familiar with the subject material, then a lot of this information should not be new to you. But if this information is new to you, do some further research on your own. Do your own independent research and check multiple sources. I'm not going to link too much stuff in the description. I don't want to be overwhelming here. And I want to kind of try to stay on point. I'm explaining a lot. So the point is that this Satanism is very real, and it has happened before, and they quashed it more or less the first time. That's what I was getting at here. Because they've been able to get away with, having things like that Wikipedia article saying, oh, it was just Christians freaking out in the 90s. They were able to cover up that case, as you can read about in the Franklin case cover-up. There's a more full title to that book. But an interesting side note on that, they exhumed the site of where the children involved in the case alleged that they were taken through underground passages, I believe 8 years or so after the event, or sometime. I'm not exactly sure on the number of years, but when they exhumed the site, they found those passageways. So they completely proved that those kids were not lying, and that the people in the court who all thought that it was just one kid being a ringleader and all the kids following them, they were completely wrong, and that was very dumb of them. Gross miscarriage of justice, if I've ever seen one. So the point is, this is still happening, and that's what Pizzagate is all about. And that's why this fake news is being used as an establishment term to try to shut it down. That is also why I believe that the alleged gunman who went to the Comet Pizza restaurant is a part of a CIA, very likely CIA, psychological operation meant to aid in this overall operation, along with the fake news establishment term and the news reports through the legacy mainstream media, to try to shut down the Pizzagate investigation. And they want people to be afraid, they want people to be scared, but you know what? You can't be afraid or scared. You have to speak out against it, and you have to share the information with everybody that you possibly can, because we need to take back control of our country. This was a once flourishing nation for many, many people. People of all demographics, of all skin colors, of all races, of all religions, especially now. But there's a caveat there. The accessibility for that now is very slim, and not many people are able to, get it. A lot of people are just straight up impoverished, basically. It's like half the country is poor and broke and destitute. It's really ridiculous. And many people are just being straight up overworked and underpaid. And then you have, immigration cutting into that, minimum wage, setting artificially low thresholds for jobs that could otherwise pay more potentially. A completely twisted college loan system wherein tuition prices have been artificially spiked due to the government subsidizing portions of people's loans, and colleges taking advantage of that fact, and private loan shark companies. See, there's just so many issues. I could go on and on. But to standpoint, we need to stop this corruption from happening, because this is a lot of people that leads to all of this other corruption, all the other corruption that I just mentioned. If we allow pedophiles in our government, what do you think is going to happen to our tax money? You think it's going to be spent appropriately? Do you think they're going to make wise decisions and use it to benefit the general populace or the citizenry? I don't think so. I think they're going to pocket it and use it to make their lives more cushy and luxurious and more lavish, and so that they have to do as little labor as possible, and they can just live life on Ease Street. Well, we should all be able to, in some regards, live, as it were, on Easy Street, especially in these times where we have such incredible technology. If only people could cooperate together, and no, I'm not advocating communism or socialism, because that's just not possible. And as I'm saying, if only people could get together and work together and get along, it just doesn't happen because of how people have a sin nature. Accept it, people. People think bad thoughts, but you can not think bad thoughts, and you can think that the bad thoughts are bad. And so that way, when you do think bad thoughts, you can recognize them as such and say, well, that's a bad thought, I'm not going to do that, whatever that is. But, there's people out there that don't get it, and they're bad people. So, we have to make do with the system that we have. And that's not really going to be an easy thing to accomplish, as I said, if we still have these pedophiles in our government. And you better believe it, if you don't think that it's high-ranking people like Barack Obama, well, why did he spend $65,000 to fly, quote, pizza from Chicago to D.C. for a private party, especially when there's a White House policy where all the food for the president has to be cooked by the White House staff at the White House? So it's like, why the pizza? And then, all these other people's emails that were found in the WikiLeaks release speaking about pizza and hamburgers and hot dogs seems to be code word for children, little boys and little girls. And it seems that they're engaged in sex trafficking. John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Just watch video compilations of how... I'll try to throw in a clip here of Joe Biden. Watch how he touches the girls when he's taking pictures with them. It's preposterous. So, Pizzagate is important. And you can, in my estimation, tell that there is a grand social, psychological operation being engaged in because of their use of the establishment term fake news. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, and keep on coming back for more. Like, subscribe, share. Give me money on my Patreon. Ooh, my Patreon. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video and learned from it. Seriously. This is going to be a recurring series. This was the first episode, Establishment Terms. Subject matter, fake news. A good day.